What is going on YouTube? It's Trey, aka The Brain from Team Hotheads, and I am here with a new Digimon card game deck profile. And I'm really excited to bring you one of our first deck profiles, one of the first things I was able to complete. This is from post Bt-5, and it's probably a deck that you've seen a lot. It is Lordknightmon, Crusadermon, whatever you want to call her. This is the first deck I did want to do when Bt-5 came out. I did make it to the Bt-5 pre-release at my local store, Alternative Universe, and I did pick up a lot of the cards. And then next, my teammate Nick, you guys know him as Fire Lord Nick, he was able to pick up quite a few boxes of Bt-5, and together we've made quite a few decks, so we're going to have quite a few profiles coming your way. But let's get it started right now with my Crusadermon deck profile, aka Lordknightmon deck profile. I try to make it a little bit different than the ones you normally see. There are some cards in here you're not typically going to see in a Lordknightmon deck profile, hence the title. I call it Holy Warriors Assemble. Starting off with the eggs, we are playing, of course, the 4 Pickmon and the 1 Upamon. Pickmon, just because you are going to be spamming the board, Pickmon will let you reduce something by 1,000 if you attack while you have 3 or more Digimon in play. And then with the Upamon, if you have 3 or fewer securities, so later game, when you attack, you are able to draw 1. Going to go kind of in reverse order. We're going to be playing 2 copies of TK, 1 copy of Kari, and 1 copy of Takumi Abai. I typically just like playing 4 tamers. That's just my style, just so I can see one. Kari is more for late game. Takumi is okay whether I see him late or not, but the star is, of course, TK, letting you look at your security stack and basically pick up anything and then recover. Takumi just gives me the extra draw when I do Digivolve. I don't Digivolve too often because, like, with this deck you are playing a lot of starters, but when you do, Takumi is great to have when you have them. So next up, we're going to go talk about the option cards I'm playing. I am playing 2 copies of Blinding Ray, 2 copies of Spiral Masquerade, 1 copy of Seven Heavens, and 1 copy of Eden's Javelin. Now, the point for this is I only was able to pick up 2 copies of Spiral Masquerade. If we had pulled 4 copies, I definitely would be playing 4 copies of Spiral Masquerade, but since we only pulled 2, I'm only playing 2. Eden's Javelin can essentially do the same thing, what's his name? Same thing Starmon can do if you have a nice size hand, and Seven Heavens also the same thing, delete something. The only difference between these guys and Spiral Masquerade is this one's a 4 cost, which is just much better. And then Blinding Rays, in case we need a little extra memory, we play the Blinding Rays. So on to the Megas, and this is going to be why I call this the Holy Knights Assemble, Holy Warriors Assemble. I'm playing 2 copies of Lordknightmon, as well as 2 copies of Kentorosmon, and 2 copies of Slash Angemon for my Megas. Now, this will definitely become 3 copies of Lordknightmon. I have 1 more on the way, and I'll tell you what I'm going to take out. I'll probably take out the Takumi or the Kari, because I don't really need the 2 TK Tamers, and still have it as 3-5. I like having Lordknightmon and Kentorosmon because what I'm not sure if people do notice this, but I noticed it, that Lordknightmon and Kentorosmon are both Holy Warriors, which means they both can be searched by a couple other cards in the deck. So you don't often miss with that card because maybe you don't see Lordknightmon, but you do still see Kentorosmon. He is great for control. When you Digivolve into him, you can take to negative security, attack -2 to your opponent's whole board, and then if you swing with them and say he dies, you can then delete something 11k or less. So I typically will play something off of Lordknightmon, Digivolve into Kentorosmon, stop my opponent's whole board from able to swing at me, and then swing hoping the Kentorosmon dies, because then I can just delete something my opponent has. Same deal with the Slash Angemon. I typically just want to do Digivolve and do the -8,000. Other than that, Lordknightmon is definitely the way to go. So when I get that 3rd copy from my buddy, I'm definitely going to put it in. I feel like I'm talking fast, so let me slow down. For the Ultimates, I'm playing 2 copies of War Growlmon, 1 copy of Shakuamon, 1 copy of Angemon, and 4 copies of Nightmon. Nightmon is synonymous with Lordknightmon. Basically, you attack Lordknightmon and you play this guy, neg 4k. War Growlmon has the same thing, Digiburst to neg 4k. Angemon's great for late game to recover, And then Shakuramon is great for a little bit of control. Same with the Controlsmon. I have another card in here that also does security attack -1 or something similar. So basically, while you have Shakuramon out, and you can on play this guy, you don't actually have to Digivolve into him. But while he's out, anything your opponent has with no Digivolution sources can have security attack -1, which often means they can't deal a damaging attack to you, which is great. So anything like Rookie Rush, anything like that, you don't really have to worry about them hitting your security stack. And then, like I said, late game, Angelomon is great. I do want to keep this video under 10 minutes. That is why I am rushing a little bit. But I think I'm doing pretty good. Let me know in the comments how I sound. I know I might not sound too loud like my normal self. I am a little congested because my babies are sick, and they did bring them sick baby germs to their dad. So now I sound like this. For the champions, I'm playing 2 copies of Gladymon, 3 copies of Turiermon, 1 copy of Unimon, and 4 copies of Pedomon. These guys are just my blockers. This is a cheap evolve, and Gladymon is the card, one of the cards I was talking about. On play, you can search your security stack for a warrior or a holy warrior. Now, normally he doesn't have many targets, but with the inclusion of Controlsmon, if I had a 3rd and 4th Lordknightmon, he would have 5 to 6 other extra targets because they are both holy warriors. So in my security stack, I do have more options than just running into Lordknightmon. But you can also find Knightmon with this guy, which is great. So that's why I'm running him at 2 instead of 1. I typically will either Digivolve 1 and play the other, or play 1 just at the beginning of the game, and then play 1 off of Lordknightmon. Off to the rookies, and there are quite a bit because yellow is a little bit of rookie rush at the moment. We're playing 2 copies of Bushiagumon, 2 copies of my favorite yellow card, Renamon, 4 copies of Kotemon, the star of the deck, no pun intended, 4 copies of Starsmon, and 4 copies of Solomon. Solomon is a cheap drop at 2. Starmon is basically the point of rookie rush decks in this yellow deck. When you play them, -1000 for every Digimon you control, which is great. Kotemon can find my warriors and holy warriors on play, which is great. Renamon, much like Controlsmon, and Shakuramon does -1000 to a Digimon, and Bushiagumon is kind of a game-winning card. If you play him right, you can steal a game from your opponent. So that is my rookie lineup. One thing I do notice about these Digimon deck profiles is just that, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, these deck profiles are much more straightforward, and that being said, I can finish them a lot faster. So if you like what you saw, give me a like. If you don't like what you saw, tell me in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Go out in a blaze of glory. And this is Trey from Team Hotheads. I will see you next time.